We need to do A's and F's, and Nina, let's begin with your F.
Yes, we have to. I'm giving an F to the inhumane treatment of homeless people in Kalispell, Montana. According to The Guardian, unhoused people are not allowed to sleep in their own cars or to carry excessive personal possessions in public, and they're not even permitted in the city's parks where there are public bathrooms and access to water and electricity. The worst part is that the city also voted to close a private shelter that offers beds to about 1/6 of the city's housing unhoused population. Shame on Kalispell.
Ben.
My F is going to the terrible optics of what was decided to do with one of the conversations we had today with Eric Adams. And I think Republican Hagan Scotton's comments were probably the best summarized way of doing this, which he said any prosecutor that knows the laws and traditions would not allow using enormous power of the Justice Department to lean on elected officials. And that goes back to that perception of reality. This is not just a nobody. This is a retired captain with 2 medals, graduated top of his class from Harvard Business School. So that's one of those 8 that left their job.
Right, he was one of the prosecutors who resigned. Lisa, your F.
My F goes to President Trump's efforts to undo the recent implementation of congestion pricing in Manhattan. It's only been in effect since January 5th, and in that time it has worked remarkably well, reducing congestion, including travel times for buses and emergency vehicles, and raising much-needed revenues to support the improvement of mass transit. But Trump, in all of his antipathy toward his hometown in particular and New York State in general, just can't let it alone. So much for the conservative ideal of limited federal intervention into state and local matters.
And Rick.
This last week, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social and X, "He who saves his country does not violate any law." If there was any question that Donald Trump thinks he can do anything, I think this should dispel it. Do these sound like the words of a president or a dictator?
And to the A's, Nina.
My A goes to Honor Smoke, a young lady, a 10-year-old student from the Tonawanda Reservation. She's the youngest person to appear on the cover of a special edition of Sports Illustrated magazine. Syracuse.com reports that Honor won first place in the girls' division at last year's New York State Championship in Syracuse. Before that, she placed 3rd in the USA Wrestling Kids Championship. That's why I'm using my A to honor honor.
And Ben, your A.
My A is going to the Trump administration for designating cartels as global terrorist organizations. They have been utilizing since then, actively utilizing intelligence assets to collect information about these cartels, both here domestically and in Mexico, and to prepare to disrupt them.
And Lisa.
I read some very good advice this week in a column by Syracuse University senior Gray Reed in the Daily Orange, the independent newspaper run by SU students. And so I give them my A and share the advice. Reed encouraged readers to step back from social media networks with all of their negativity, disinformation, and manipulation, and detox by taking time to re-embrace physical media like books, records, and CDs, and other physical works of art.
And Rick.
My A, this past week, hell, this entire winter has been too much for me to take. But today, the Yankees played their first spring training game, so even more than that first Robin sighting, this tells me that spring is indeed on its way.